What an Excellent Day for a Podcast is not for the weak of heart. It contains explicit language, roller coaster-like tangents, and the occasional breakout into song. All opinions expressed are just that, opinions, and belong solely to those who speak them. Listener discretion is advised. Spoilers ahead.
Excellent day for an podcast. You'd like that?
Are you fucking nuts?
Get that damn screwdriver out of my hand!
You listen, you little bitch. You hang up on me again, I'll gut you like a fish, understand?
I want you to pray to your God. I want you to pray that he comes and saves you.
Do I look like someone who cares what God thinks?
What's going on, everyone, and welcome to another episode of What an Excellent Day for a Podcast. Now, before I get on with tonight's episode, I guess I should address the elephant in the room, and that is, well, it's pretty obvious, it's just me tonight. For anybody out there who doesn't know, life gets in the way sometimes. And right now, my fellow horror nerds are a little preoccupied. So, I'm going to do what I can to keep this ship sailing in the time being, and hopefully things are going to turn around and they should be back in a flash. So, in the meantime, there's always ideas fiddling around in this head. But it only makes sense to give everyone out there a little bit of a say as well. So, anyone listening to this, just click on that little Text the Nerds link on whatever you're listening on. If you're watching this on YouTube, obviously comment and throw out anything you want to listen to. Could be a topic, a review, if you're interested in an interview, a collaboration with somebody else out there. Who knows? We're not even opposed to fans joining in on this chaos. But yeah, any ideas whatsoever, throw them out there and, we'll bump you to the top of the list there. So yeah, for anybody that has been following us knows that it could get a little weird if you leave creative decisions up to me. Might cause a little bit of trauma for some people out there. So yeah, wishing all my brothers in nerddom the best. Hope everything clears up soon. And with that, let's get on with the episode. Tonight, I'm going to be going with the A&P Productions 2025 release of OnlyFangs. And again, anybody who's been following this show knows we've been anticipating this for quite some time. As soon as it came out, I managed to purchased myself a digital download of this and just recently finished my second viewing. So for those of you who are not familiar with this or A&P Productions, this movie is written by Paul Ragsdale and directed by Angelica D'Alba and Paul Ragsdale. Obviously, we had Jessa Flux on a while back, who was in their other movie Murder Size, and if you haven't watched Murder Size yet, fucking get on it. It's gold. And in this movie, much like most of their others, they have themselves a nice ensemble cast, but you get a lot of the staples. You have Kansas Bowling, Drew Maverick, Nina Laney Kent, obviously Jessa Flux, and a ton of other people. Now, when I put this on, obviously I want to focus on the movie. So in the opening credits, I was not quite paying attention, and which made it kind of a pleasant surprise. Relatively early on in the movie, we have an appearance by one of the many main characters, Miss Ellie Clutch. And it's kind of a sorry, not sorry kind of scenario where, holy shit, look who it is! And then I realize, is that something to brag about? But fuck all that. It's nice to have a diverse taste in cinema, so don't judge. So, to go with the IMDb synopsis of this movie, it is a wannabe monster hunter helps a bloodthirsty gang of vampire chicks expand their business by creating a new app that turns their victims into customers. And that is probably the most basic, spoiler-free synopsis you can give. This movie has a runtime of, it's like just over 2 hours, which made me a little nervous going into it. So the movie starts off about 100 years ago when you have two characters trying to flee from their master, and it just kind of sets the stage as to who's the good, who's the bad, maybe. Just gives you a little intro to roughly what we're getting into on the vampire end of things. And then we end up coming into the present day where we have Kansas Bowling as Reese. She's in the middle of a modeling gig. And surprise, surprise, in the present day, this master from the intro of the movie, he's there. So, wonder what his situation is. So he walks in at the end of this shoot and gives the old, hey, you did great, kid, and, I'm going to keep you, and, I see big things for you. You stick with me, and you're going to go places. And then he goes on to bite her neck, turning her into a vampire. So a few other things go down. Basically, they end up escaping her along with 3 of the other main characters, other vamp girls that have already been enslaved by this man. They manage to break free. They sort of kind of kill him, and you see him roaming the streets. And I kind of like this. So this is what was going on during the credits. You see him walking down the street, basically establishing that they're just out there roaming the earth. And I love the whole like Reservoir Dogs feel of it all. Even though Tarantino didn't invent that shot, but fuck you, it's the Reservoir Dogs shot. So they end up finding this old warehouse. It's all like a graffitied up and all that. But they go in there more or less to set up base. Then you fast forward to Reese is going on a date. The others are a little skeptical about it because, she's young. She a new convert. And they're just a little weary of her affiliating with too many humans because they established throughout the entire movie they have no trust for humans. So she's going out on this date because she wants to meet herself a nice guy. And so they just said, be careful, yada yada. So she goes on her date. And then we clip to, we have Wes, we have Gwen, and I'm drawing a blank on the other guy's name, which we all know I'm good at. But these 3 are monster hunters. They're more or less doing a show or a podcast, something like that. But the whole thing's run by Wes. Jessa Flux, playing Gwen, is Wes's sister, and I absolutely love her in this, especially in the first half of the movie, where she's just this cynical, fresh college student. She's trying to find out who she is, and she's kind of doing this, I guess, just to kind of be supportive of her brother. But yeah, she just has this, she's not playing a bitch, but again, she's just very cynical. It's just like, okay, yeah, we're gonna find monsters and all, and I just love the way she portrayed it. So they're getting ready to, they go to this park, they're getting ready to spread out and, let's go look for monsters. And it turns out that Wes, behind the bushes, stumbles upon Reese and her date, and Reese ends up biting her date. And so he grabs his camera, whips it out, tries getting some video of it. She notices him and kind of freaks out, and he's like, oh my god, I found a monster. He wasn't even 100% what it was. I think he was guessing like a zombie or something along those lines. So he gets back to the others, and he's like, oh, call the gang. So he gets all their friends together, and they're hanging out, and he's trying to show this video, but it was so fast, and I guess part of it, her being a vampire, it was just a very blurry, like you could barely see what's going on in this video. And you find out very early on that these friends of his, they're all like conspiracy theorists. They all have their own thing, some of them are just flat out, fuck you to the man. Others, you got like flat earth shit going on. It does dabble into like some political rants and stuff like that. But yeah, you can kind of tell why they're friends. I mean, they're very different in certain aspects as far as personality, but the one common thread is on some level, they're all some kind of conspiracy theorists. And again, of course, Wes, he's determined to find monsters. He believes in monsters. He doesn't know what he's going to find, but he wants to find something out there. So, of course, he's all excited, but because of the blurry video, all of his friends are, yeah, that's cute. It's probably just some crackhead. And like, all right, fuck you, guy, and we're going off. In the meantime, Reese gets back to her friends, and she's like, oops, I think I fucked up. I think somebody saw me, because they're kind of in hiding, but they are getting out in the world, but they're definitely trying to keep discreet about it. So these vampire ladies decide they're going to track down, find out who it was that spotted them, and it turns out this whole gang's hanging out at a theater. So the women walk out onto the stage and start talking. Of course, they're all beautiful women, so everybody picks a girl and starts hitting on her. Wes immediately is drawn to Reese, and I don't know, maybe it's just me, maybe I'm getting sentimental in my old age, but you can almost feel like some chemistry right out of the gate with them. It's just like, ooh, are these two going to make it? This is going to be wonderful. So we're going to fast forward a little bit, but basically they're all going back and forth, and they end up not killing anyone in the group, obviously, because half these people do continue for quite some time in the movie. But then you see Reese and Wes, they kind of go off in the corner, and as they're having a nice little chat, Reese leans over and bites Wes on the neck. He wakes up. He's not turned. He's not anything. It's just, ow, what the fuck was that? And at this point, the rest of the women are there. He pretty quickly puts together, holy shit, you guys are fucking vampires. And they're a little baffled by the whole thing. Like, oh, aren't you scared? Aren't you terrified? He's like, this is fucking amazing. This is what I've been waiting my whole life to find. It was a fun little scene. So they're kind of going back and forth, and they're talking about how they need to get out and feed and all this. And he's talking about, like, I'm a photographer. I do videos. I make websites. I do all this stuff. So it all comes together that he ends up pitching them the idea, well, wait, if you guys need to feed, instead of going out and killing people, how about if we put together this website where people buy a subscription, and if they want to just look at pictures of you, they can do that. If they want to look at videos, they can do that. Or if they want to get the premium subscription, they can get the full vampire experience, which is one of these vampires will come to your house, nibble on your neck, they'll get to feed a little, but he does get them to agree that you're only feeding enough to sustain life. You're not killing anyone. And ultimately, they end up agreeing to that. So they go, they make up the website, they do this whole photo shoot. Gwen is, even though they all kind of do it, but Gwen is kind of like the house photographer for this group. So she comes in, and I love how she just comes in like she's like, shit hasn't even started, and she's already done with it. And like, oh, so what are we doing now? Are we shooting adult videos now? Is this what we're doing? And like I said, I'm making it sound more bitchy, more like, ugh. She does a great job of, again, you could tell she's already over it, but it's not too over the top. Now, I would say the acting across the board in this movie is very good. Again, we're talking an indie film. If you've seen any of their previous movies, sometimes it goes a little over the top, and they definitely do in this one as well. There's definitely a little bit of overacting from time to time, but it was so in the minority, I almost feel like it kind of added to the charm of the whole thing, so it didn't really stand out. Or it could just be that in some context, I'm kind of a fan of it. If we're talking like a super like low budget indie film, I again, to me, that's like part of the charm of the whole thing. But I do think a majority of the acting in this was really great. I think everybody did a really good job. So to sprinkle in a little bit of, oh, I am going to bite you, I thought it was cute. So they go and they put everything together. Gwen goes and does the photo shoot. They get the website up. Oh, what are we going to call this? And we get, how about OnlyFangs? Yeah, spoilers. That's the one they went with. So yeah, they finalized all the logistics of it. And then you get, the site goes up, and immediately now we get this like montage of like, a lot of like YouTubers, a lot of podcasters, people doing videos and shit like that. I feel like at one point it almost sounded like an NPR type of thing going on, but it's everybody talking about this new craze, this website where, you can look at vamps and all this, but if you want to go like for the platinum plan here, you can have the full vampire experience. And everybody that's talking about it is, you could tell to some extent nobody's taking this seriously. It's kind of played off like, oh yeah, somebody will come and they'll bite on your neck. But I got the sense, especially in the beginning, that nobody actually believed these were vampires. It was just somebody full-on method acting with this shit. So from there, I think beyond this, we're getting a little too much into spoiler territory, but a lot of shit goes down we do get a big bad. There are other characters on the outside. You got one guy that shows up that immediately is like, oh, we got to take down the man and we got to do this. So he's out trying to recruit people, and he's on to this vampire thing, and it's pretty funny. Like, it's played straight for the most part, but there's definitely a lot of tongue-in-cheek going on. Again, I think it was a good mix of being serious about it, but not trying to hide what they're doing here. It's considered, a comedy amongst other things. So, they're going for some giggles there, and I think, again, going back to the occasional overacting, that felt more intentional, more for the chuckles. So, let's see, what else? But yeah, a bunch of shit goes down. Eventually, the big bad comes, you get your typical third act where the big bad catches up to everyone else. There's a few twists and turns. There's some backstabbing. There's a moment where you're not sure who to trust. And I'm not going to tell you by the end of it who should be trusted, but not everybody's on the same side going into this movie as when it wraps up. So overall, the pros, even though I feel like I touched on most of it, again, I thought the acting was really great. But I thought it was written really well. It was almost written better than the premise should have allowed. This movie is very much probably what you think it is, but Ragsdale put a lot more thought into this than, like I said, than the premise warrant. And that's, again, obviously a good thing. It seemed very well thought out as far as, when they were ironing out the logistics of how the website's going to go, like the different tiers. Again, like when you have certain elements coming into it, like nothing felt shoehorned. It didn't feel cluttered. And again, this is kind of a thing when you're dealing with low budget movies, especially low budget horror. A lot of times it comes off as, fuck the plot, fuck the story. Let's just get on to the next gag, the next kill, whatever the case is. And no, I felt the way everything was pieced together. And again, we're talking like an ensemble cast here. So there was a lot of elements and it all came together by the end. So great job. The cinematography I thought was really good. The sound was really good. Again, maybe I'm biased because I like these types of movies, but like the color of the movie. I've said it many times before. You throw some neon colors in a movie, I'm a happy fucking guy. I get a little 80s chub out of it. And I'm not saying it's the whole movie, but there are substantial chunks of it that are, you got bright neon hallways, things like that. So I thought everything looked amazing, from how it was shot to, like I said, the whole color scheme of many of the scenes. Obviously, I thought the editing was really good, but I guess to tie that into negatives, really my only negative of it is it's a crowd-funded movie. This is a movie financed predominantly by the fans, and when you're doing crowdfunding things, there are perks offered out. I've taken up a few in my lifetime. It's just a cool little thing. You get certain movies that, people are just compelled to, hey, I want to help this project out. I want to see it happen. I really believe in it, whatever the case is. And some people just do it out of generosity. But I like how, you get certain creators that do want to give a little thank you for people to contribute. So they offer these perks. It seems like one of the big perks in this movie is, I didn't really get into it, but in the beginning, before Wes meets the vampire ladies, you see him watching reactions because he ends up posting this mystery video that he took of this thing in the park doing some kind of monsterly or demonic thing. So he's on YouTube or whatever platform it is, watching people comment on this video he posted. And of course, it's everybody, oh, this guy's a hack. This is fabricated. This is, just everybody giving him shit. And he lives with his mom, which I thought was a nice touch. And even more so that his mom was Ginger Lynn. So that was fucking great. So he's watching all this, and after about 4 or 5 commentaries on his video, you hear, Ma, people are saying mean things about me on the internet. And if anybody is familiar with Drew Maverick, he definitely pulls that off. But he's obviously not a child. But when he starts, more or less crying for mommy as a child, if anybody could pull that off, it's him. Like, you don't doubt that he would be, or that Wes is the type of person to act that way, that he's definitely a middle-aged mama's boy. And again, just awesome. The more I see with him in it, the more of a huge fan I'm becoming of his. So all these people commenting on his video are, I'm assuming, people who bought the perk to be in the movie. When the website is first launched and it first starts taking off, all the people on there talking about this up and coming, this new website or this new app that's setting the world afire. Obviously, these seem like perk people. And then later on in the movie, there's another batch of commentary of people basically talking about conspiracy theories and things like that. Obviously, the app gets so big, now you get people saying, oh, this is like MK Ultra, and, that type of shit. Now people trashing the website because it's too huge, so of course it's got to be like a government conspiracy or something like that. So again, another batch of people that probably paid to be in the movie. Again, I don't fault that. So as far as negatives for the movie, when we get into those, again, we're talking a 2-hour runtime. You could probably knock off at least 15 minutes of the movie by knocking those portions of the movie down to 2 or 3 people. I understand why they did it. And again, I'm not faulting it, but it's definitely one of those things. If you're one of those people, it's going to be the greatest scene of the fucking movie. Because who wouldn't take pride in something like that? But as a casual watcher, like I said, you understand why it's all there, why there's so many of them, but it does stretch the runtime out a lot. But I will admit, on my second watch, it didn't feel as drawn out as it did the first time. The first time, I think, when I mentioned to Danny C that I watched this movie, he was like, how was it? I'm like, it's 2 hours, and they could have probably trimmed 45 minutes out of it with all the perk people in it. Watching it the second time, it definitely wasn't as long. I realized how much more of the story makes up the runtime. But again, even though it didn't feel as long, it does drag it out a little bit, and I could see how that could be a big turnoff for me. I'm sure on, future watches of this, it'll probably stand out less and less. But either way, it does kind of pad out the runtime a bit. I know there's a bunch more shit. There was another, and fuck, I hate this, that I'm forgetting the name. This is what I get for not taking notes. But, one of these days I'll be a big boy and be able to just completely do this off the cuff. There is one of the people from Wes's crew that ends up crushing on one of the vamps. It's not a huge chunk of it. I think there's like maybe a 5-minute montage somewhere mid-movie. And then after that, they do touch on it a few times. But you want to talk about the cutest fucking couple in a movie. Watching them, I guess he's trying to court her, although it does seem like they hit it off pretty early on. But just watching them coming together and hanging out, it almost had like Lifetime movie type shit happening there. It was so adorable. It was fucking hilarious. Because this was one of those cases where they are playing it up. Yes, we're going to be extra, and like in love with one another. But it was great. I love the way it came out. It's definitely good for a laugh, but it was also kind of sweet to where, God, I really hope these two survive the end of the movie. And I'm not going to tell you if they did or didn't, because everybody should be watching this fucking movie. And yeah, I'm not really sure what else to say about this. I mean, there's a lot I want to say about it, but I don't want to go into too many details that are going to spoil the fuck out of this. Like I said, overall, it was a really fun time. Again, if you've seen any of A&P's previous movies, and I hate to keep just going back to it, but again, we're all huge fans of Murder Size, and so if you like that, I think you might like this more because it's definitely played more straight. Obviously, that was our introduction to Jessa Jupiter Flux, which is why we needed to get her on the show. Obviously, having her on the show, her being a good time, she was just a fun conversation. She was able to crack jokes and all, but you could tell she takes acting very seriously. And it sounds like that hunch was confirmed for a 3-year episode when we had the Black Av guys on, and they were even saying how much of a professional she is. So if you see Candy in Murder Size, brilliant fucking performance, that's not who Jessa is. So, and this movie definitely proves it, because for a good chunk of the movie, she gets a little more like playful throughout it. But again, especially the first half of the movie, she plays a pretty straight character, and I thought it was really fucking believable. So we are definitely looking forward to where her career goes. Hopefully she's going to get more and more shit going on to the point where, you know, maybe some bigger names are going to notice her. I mean, if she stays in the indie fucking realm, awesome. I just think there's more room for someone to be themselves, you know, more input and all. Or maybe it's just, again, me being biased, tainted, whatever you want to fucking call it. That, for those of you who haven't listened to our year-end wrap-up, not a lot of good mainstream shit going on out there. So I think this year more than ever, we're definitely keeping an eye out for the indie stuff. So obviously Black Ave, A&P, Fuzz on a Lens. Well, by Fuzz on a Lens, I include Damien in that mix because, in the sounds of it, we are getting Terrifier 4, the grand finale this year. So, you know, I lump him in with that group, even though he's his own entity. So, what else? Again, anybody who heard our year-end thing, me going full rah-rah for Jimmy and Stig. So, of course, and just being a fan of Eli Roth in general, you know, I'm looking forward to what the future of the horror section is going to bring us. Hopefully he's got a bunch of shit lined up this year. So if I were to give this a rating, and again, my ratings, I'm 99% based off of entertainment value. I'm going to go, let's say 7.5. I feel like that might have bumped up a little bit from my first watching. Talking maybe a half a point, so who knows if I watch this a few more times, which I do intend to do. I say it with everything, but yeah, this is definitely something because I definitely want other people to watch this movie. I'm not sure if Danny got around to seeing it yet. I'm pretty sure the other two guys haven't seen it. It's definitely one I'm going to push more and more people to watch, even if that means me sitting them down with my copy and here, I'm going to tie you a fucking chair, you're going to watch this shit. Because it is a good time. So right now, I'm going to go 7.5. You know what? No. 7.75 I'm going to go with this. Because, again, I just thought it was a very well done movie. I love how every time I watch one of these guys' movies, you know, you can see them up in their game, like little incremental steps. They're getting better and better at this. And this, again, for a low budget indie thing, it could have played. Like, I think this could have, well, maybe the content, you know, and there wasn't a lot of, you know, there wasn't a ton of nudity in this, no more than, you know, your average R-rated movie. But I think just, well, not the content, the premise of the movie, I think it would probably get frowned upon by the mainstream and like the theaters and shit like that. But I think it's something that would have done well with a theatrical run. And who knows, maybe down the road, I would feel enough happened at the end that there could be sequel potential. Again, not giving spoilers, but I will leave it at not everybody dies in this movie, so that there is room to continue the story. I don't know if Ragsdale has any future plans for it. If he does it, I would definitely check it out, so we'll see what happens from there. So that is enough rambling for me. Correction, enough rambling from me, because you all know I could babble for fucking hours. But some of us have bedtime. I'm sure you're all sick of the sound of my voice at this point, so I'm going to wrap this episode once and for all. So OnlyFangs, check it out. It's definitely a good time. Be well, be safe, stay creepy, keep talking some damn horror, and of course, toodles. Broadcast completed.
Listening to What an Excellent Day for a Podcast. Be sure to come on down to excellentdayforapodcast.com, where you'll find our entire catalog. And for your convenience, every episode contains a link where you can text the nerds. Want to throw some praise? Some critique? Perhaps you have a suggestion for a topic you'd like to see us tackle. But while you think about that, you could also check out the connections to all of our socials, including our YouTube channel. Give all them a visit. But don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with everybody you know. And for those feeling a little extra generous, there's also a button where you can support the show in other ways. Every bit of support helps. Well, that's it for this episode. And remember, stay creepy and keep talking some damn horror.